Ayan. Ayan, nadali din tayo. Biglang nawala yung meta na na-upload natin kahapon ah. Ay nako, hindi ko alam nangyari sa akin. Ay, hindi ko alam nangyari sa atin dyan guys. Hanggang ngayon, chinecheck ko, walang trace whatsoever. Nagkataon pa, ang pinag-usapan pa naman natin dyan guys is yung issue ng Pogos. Next thing I know, wala eh. Wala talagang, walang trace. Parang it never happened. No? Kung na-delete mo kasi dapat sa trash yan. Kung na-delete mo yan dapat sa ano yan, sa log activity yan. Wala yung Pogo meta natin. Hindi ko alam bakit. Wala naman tayong sinabi dyan na hindi outside yung mga nire-report guys ng ni-reports ng mga mainstream media. I was just talking about what the media was saying about this issue. Kaya hindi ko alam. Kaya please guys, kung may iba sa inyo na may access pa rin doon sa meta video na yan, doon sa Pogo, at tapos pinag-usapan pa natin si Lenny, paki-forward sa akin, or if you have a screenshot or screen video, etc., para ma-forward natin. So ayoko na magsalita muna because nag-forward ako ng complaint dun sa head ng policy ng Facebook Philippines, at nag-forward din ako dun sa system nila with screenshot nung video na yan. But the more we have, the better. Okay? So, hindi ko talaga alam ano nangyari doon because until 11 a.m. kanina guys, andun siya, andun yung report, walang problema. Nag-good morning pa nga ako. Pag-check dito, pag-check kabila, biglang pagbalik ko, wala na siya. As in, totally wala. It's not even in my internal documents, etc. So, I have no idea what happened. That has never happened to me. And God forbid, hopefully it will never happen again or to anyone else. Hopefully, tingnan natin kung ma-retrieve pa natin yan. So, i-follow up ko ulit dito sa head ng Facebook. If ever wala akong makuhang matinong sagot, I'm gonna elevate this to headquarters ng Facebook. Either dyan sa Singapore, yung Asia Pacific Department nila, yung head nila, kilala ko yan. Kasi dati may complaint din ako sa kanila. Or I can take this all the way to Silicon Valley if it's necessary. No? So, I just have no idea what on earth happened there. So, medyo windang ako kanina habang I was going through. Because I'm trying to figure out what on earth is happening here. Bakit ganyan? Bakit biglang mawala yung video na ganon? Already may 12 hours of exposure na siya. And then there's like totally no trace. Even if accidentally na-delete ko yan dapat, which obviously I don't. I'm very careful about it. At hindi mo naman pwede delete na basta-basta lang. Lalabas pa rin yan sa activity log and everything. So it totally disappeared. So I have no idea what's going on. I'm just hoping it's nothing really weird na siguro may bugs sa system, etc. at maging maayos yan. Kasi ang daming comments, mga thousands of likes and comments dyan. At umiinit pa lang nagbubuelo pa lang yung video, biglang nawala. So, I don't understand what's going on there. So, let us see guys, kung anong update dito. Hopefully by tomorrow, mababalik natin yung video na yan. Kasi medyo napag-usapan na natin yung Pogo industry, the decision to shut down some of them, or at least push for the shutting down of some of them na wala ng lisensya or expired ng lisensya or may mga suspicious activities, etc. So, I'm not gonna go more into this topic. Tingnan muna natin anong mangyayari dyan, anong gagawin ng Facebook, ayusin nila yan. Kasi ayoko ulitin yung sinabi ko na nakaka-stress yun, guys. Okay? And, this is a sensitive topic, etc. Lots is at stake. So, I don't want to rub it in too much. Okay? Tingnan natin. Pero yeah, honestly, medyo na stress ako, medyo na bad trip ako, like what's going on here. Because yun nga, there's no trace. If na mass report naman yan guys, malalaman mo rin dapat yan kasi doon sa inbox mo, makakuha ka ng for instance, a message kung saan sasabihin nila sa'yo na you had a community rules violation or etc. Wala, there's nothing. There's no notification, no trace, nothing. It's like, it never happened. Parang ibang digital amnesia nangyari dyan. Nakalimutan ng sistema yung nangyari. Parang tayo naalala natin, yung AI hindi niya maalala. So, I don't know what on earth is happening there. No? I don't know. Kasi kahapon din, marami tayong ibang bagay na pinag-usapan. Hindi lang naman ng mga Pogo. Pinag-usapan din naman natin, guys, yung at ito pa, hindi ko, nagkataon, baka alam nila yung nangyari sa buhay ko. Nagkataon, hindi ko rin yan dinownload at in-upload sa ibang platforms. So, wala tayong, kung kailan hindi ko, kasi sobrang busy ako kahapon, di ba? I have to leave again. And actually, by the way, I have to leave naman again early later on. Habol tayo dun sa isang interview natin. Studio interview natin. Later on, God willing. So, hindi ko rin siya na-download. Hindi ko rin siya nilagay dun sa ibang platforms natin. Kaya biglang, parang wait lang. Kung kailan may isang video na hindi ko na-upload sa iba or hindi ko na-download, biglang nawala ng ganyan. So, weird. But some of you still have access. I notice, marami hindi ko na kayo papangalanan. Papangalanan. Ayan tayo. Nahubulo naman tayo sa Tagalog. Pero please meron na tayong mga videos and some of the screenshots. But even you have better one, please forward it to us. Diyan lang sa messenger natin. I'll really appreciate it. Para ma-consolidate natin at ma-forward at follow up natin sa Facebook. Kasi, guys, for you guys, it's just a video. Forget about it. Whatever. Okay. Hindi. Guys, pinaghirapan natin yung mga yan. Para sa inyo, parang nagchichismisan, nagmarites lang tayo dito. But guys, for us, for people who talk about these sensitive issues, we're running risks. These are stressful topics. These are difficult topics. Hindi madali pag-usapan yan. Kailangan ng research. Ilang taon na po namin pinag-usapan yan. At saka yung element ng live. Iba pala yung live na may interaction, etc. Ibang bagay talaga yan, guys. So, so for me, it's not just a video, whatever, na forget about it. Kaya I just want to understand what's going on. Kasi dati nga may mga bug sa system. So siguro it's just a bug and hopefully maayos yan. So hindi ko na ulitin yung sinabi natin. Medyo gusto ko mag-move forward today. I want to talk about something else still relevant naman sa atin. And yes, we have to also talk about other issues na relevant sa ekonomiya natin. As I said, pagdating sa dollar, it actually can go even higher. So I checked the schedule of Federal Reserve. There'll be a meeting in November and early November and then December. So in one of those meetings, there'll be another rate hike. So tataas naman yung interest rate sa US. Papunta na naman yung mga pera sa US dahil mas mataas yung bayad sa kanila in dollar terms. Bababa naman yung value ng mga pera ng mga ibang bansa. So we have to be prepared for a situation whereby actually this goes even beyond 60 pesos. No? Exchange. So, tignan natin guys yan. So, I'm also watching that situation very carefully. Kasi yun nga, hindi naman isang bagay lang pinag-usapan ko, isang bagay lang ni-research natin. We're constantly researching on multiple things at the same time. Different sources, cross-referencing, checking the data, rechecking the data, writing on them. So, please guys, maybe sa inyo, madali lang yung ginagawa namin. But it's not, guys. It's actually difficult to find the right time to do it live, etc. Kaya medyo nawindang talaga ako kanina pa. Parang, paano to? So I've messaging right and left, asking here and there, like, how can a video just disappear? And then there's no trace of it in your activity log, in your trash bin, in your... If na-report yan, bakit walang... You know what I'm saying? There's nothing. There's no trace whatsoever. It's like it never happened. Buti, hindi lang ako nakita nun. Kung wala kayo, sabi na, alam mo, Richard, nag-i-imagine ka, never nangyari yan. Grabe naman yan, parang sa mga pelikula, nakakatakot naman yung ganon. Yung parang imagination mo lang yan. Hindi talaga totoo yan. Nangyari yung video na yan. Okay? Ay nako, scary. Baka ma-matrix tayo dyan. Okay. Balikan natin to. Now, I just want to quickly talk about this. Yes, over the past weeks or so, we saw that the president has, yung sa privacy ko. Yeah, of course, I want to make sure what's going on with my data, etc. I want to make sure, bakit kung kailan hindi ko siya na-download, yung pa yung biglang nawala. You know what I'm saying? Of course, you don't want to be paranoid. You don't want to be always suspicious or whatever. But, guys naman, parang weird ng feeling eh. Na-upload mo na, thousands of comments and likes, naka 12 hours, na siya, circulation, and then biglang, what? Wait, what? As in, there's no trace whatsoever, as if it never happened? Come on, guys, that's weird. That's weird. I just hope it's just some system bug and all at maayos yan. Kaya ngayon, basta i-screenshot nyo na parati yan, para wag na naman isa, nag-imagine ka lang, wala ka naman talagang video, wag ganun ha. Nakakatakot na yung ganon. Kaya maganda palang ginagawa natin, in-upload natin different places, inaano natin para may ano tayo, resibo, di ba? Kung kailan hindi ko na-download, biglang nawala pa siya. As in, nawala, no trace whatsoever, no notification, nothing. No notification na may complaint, no notification na may violations, no notification na na-delete ko accidentally, which of course, how can you do that? Eh, sobrang ano tayo dito, di ba? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So I'm just saying, let's check it out. Okay, so weird things happen. Anyways, basta andyan kayo dyan. Andyan kayo. Alam nyo nangyari yan. Hindi ako nag-imagine yan. Okay, you guys have been there. We saw it. Okay, so I'll be just very quick about this, guys. Medyo na ano lang tayo. Nawala yung energy natin ng konti dahil dyan. Among other things, of course. Now, just quickly about this. Now, of course, isang topic today is apparently si President Marcos is open to the idea of buying oil from Russia, no? Baka maano rin tayo dyan, biglang mawala rin tong live natin, ano ba yan? No, so there are discussions, so may report from Bloomberg, so may interview si President Marcos with Bloomberg kung saan he mentioned the possibility of purchasing oil from Russia, all right? Let me pull it out. Right. Now, the question is, does this make sense? All right? Ito. So, watch Philippine Marcos. Yan. So, ito yun. Ilalabas lang natin para makita hindi naman tayo Ito yun, Philippines Marcos 6 Russian fuel. No? Now, the idea, ito.
Mr. President, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you very much for
ito yung interview.
giving me the opportunity to speak on all of these issues that we are facing.
Especially when it comes to the global economy, to the Philippine economy, right?
Okay, so pwede nyo i-check yan, please. Yung interview niya with Bloomberg, I'll just post the... na-trauma yata ako doon sa nawala akong video bigla. Parang baka mamaya... Ipopost ko mamaya, paki-check yan. Anyway, ang tanong dyan is, does it make sense? I mean, of course, on one hand, we see with President Marcos, we are building a very strong relationship, again, with the West, very warm relationship with the West. Nakita din natin na when it comes to relations with China, things are not bad, but things are changing, right? Things are changing. It's warm, but not as chummy as before. It's welcoming, but not as subservient. Or seemingly subservient as before. When I say before, I'm talking about President Duterte, of course, right? And then also on West Philippine Sea, we see President Marcos actually more assertive, drawing the line, trying to help out, trying to, to make sure na our red lines are clear. So in fairness, some of the good things are happening. They're very, very, very interesting. All right? Now, balikan natin itong issue na to. So, where is this Russia thing coming from? Where is this Russia thing coming from? Now, sa isang banda, the Philippines actually canceled a major defense deal with Russia. Ito yung helicopter deal natin with Russia worth around $250 million. No? Laking pera nun. We canceled that for a number of reasons, but one of the reasons, perhaps the chief reason, was fear over incurring secondary sanctions from the U.S. Because ang United States pa ay may sanctions dun sa Russian arms industry and Russian arms exports. So kung bumili ka sa kanila, apektado ka rin dun sa sanction ng US. And US could... So that not only affects your maintenance capability, supply capability, training capability, but you can even face secondary sanctions kung saan even your armed forces or your defense ministry could also face some countermeasures by the United States, no? So, very strict ang US. Ang tawag actually nila dun sa sanctions nila sa Russia, specifically in defense industry nila, ito yung tinawag na CATSA. Ito So, ilabas natin. Wait lang Na ano pa rin, windang pa rin ako dun sa nawalang video Ay nako. Ito yung Countering America's Adversaries Through Sanctions Act. CATSA. Yun po yung pangalan niya. So, andito sa Treasury Department. Yung details niya, pwede niyo check dito. Alright, so countering America's adversaries through sanctions, act-related sanctions. So ito, CATSA. CATSA, yung pangalan niya. So, under this CATSA, alright, the United States imposes very, very strict sanctions on arms exports, defense exports of countries, especially like Russia, and especially more so after yung Ukraine, nangyari sa Ukraine. Now, in Southeast Asia, yung kapitbahay natin, Indonesia, they immediately canceled yung kanilang billion-dollar fighter jet, Sukhoi fighter deal with Russia, anticipating secondary sanctions. And then Philippines, towards the end of President Duterte, and then bleeding into the opening of President Marcos' term, because may mga similarity of officials, we have the same ambassadors to U.S., Ambassador Babe Romualdez, etc., we also canceled the chopper deal. And openly, both former Defense Secretary Lorenzana and Ambassador Romualdez have suggested that yung concern natin with U.S. sanctions was a big factor. At instead of getting Russian helicopters, we're getting American Chinook fighters, Chinook helicopters. No, in the case of Indonesia, kukuha sila sa France at US ng fighter jets. So not only did they cancel the Russian deals, they're going for their American counterparts or Western counterparts. So ito po yung situation na nakita natin pagdating sa Russia when it comes to military deals. So my sense is Marcos administration is much more circumspect for good reasons on developing robust defense and military cooperation with Russia, and precisely because may concern with secondary sanctions. But things are a bit different pagdating sa Russian energy exports. No? So even sa Europe, which is one of the biggest source of sanctions on Russia, Europe has exemptions on energy imports from Russia. Not full. Those so sanctions are coming in on Russia, including, I think, their shipping industry, oil exports, their central bank, financial system. They have been kicked out of the SWIFT system, so it will be hard to make dollar-denominated transactions, international currency transactions with Russian banks, etc. And Russians, yes, nonetheless, Europe continues to import gas from Russia. And at the same time, iba kasi po yung natural gas sa oil eh. Yung natural gas kasi kailangan mo ng pipeline. And it's not like, oh, ayan ang Europe, tanggalin natin yung pipeline, lagyan natin sa kabila. It doesn't work that way. You need 10 to 20 years sometimes to build some of these pipelines, right? So, hindi mo pwede ipaganyan mo lang yan. Alright, shoutout natin si Roger. Okay, hindi mo pwede ganyan lang. Unless you have liquefied natural gas capability, but but you need significant infrastructure for that. And it's very, very expensive and high-tech. So far, Qatar is very top expert sa LNG exports. So Russia is more like pipeline natural gas. Now, yung oil, England, UK totally stopped it. I think in August, zero for the first time in almost 2 decades. Wala silang oil imports, energy imports whatsoever from Russia. So what Russia is doing right now is yung mga oil exports na hindi niya masend sa Europe, ang ginagawa niya, sinesend niya sa Asia. No? And mga big customers niya are India and China. And one reason these countries are buying from Russia is, of course, they have defense and strategic ties. Both China and India, even though magkalaban yung dalawa na yan, they actually source a lot of their military from Russia. That's an interesting thing with both China and India, right? Because ang India, nung panahon ng Cold War, mas close siya sa Soviet Union because ang US ay mas close sa Pakistan, which is kalaban of India, right? So that was the situation back then, right? And Jawaharlal Nehru, yung Prime Minister of India before, used to be much more skeptical, at least until the border war with China, of Western hegemony and colonialism than the threat from the communist bloc, etc. So there was always higher comfort level with Russia and Soviet Union as far as Indians were concerned compared to many other countries na democratic, liberal, or close to the West, right? So, but the other thing that makes them very eager to buy Russian oil is because Russia has high quality oil. Yung sulfur content niya is very optimal. So you don't need a lot of refining capacity to incorporate that into your domestic consumption. And then the other thing also with Russian oil is that they're being offered very cheaply. You were talking about 15-20% differentials. Sometimes potentially even more, no? And that means that many Asian countries are here to juice it out. So while Russia is offering it very cheap oil because they're desperate, no, they cannot sell as well to the West. Europe is going to impose more sanctions on Russia in terms of their oil imports. Britain totally cut off. US also made total ban of oil imports from Russia, etc. Although they never really had much. So they're looking for alternative markets. India and China are big and important, but they're not the universe. And to make up for what they're losing in the West, they have to find more. Kaya Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand, medyo Japan, Korea mahirap kasi very close to US mga yan. And they also impose their sanctions on Russia in light of the Ukraine crisis. So that is, I think, the situation wherein President Marcos thinking, maybe we can also buy, at least in the short run, while mataas ang inflation rate natin, while medyo mataas pa rin yung presyo ng langis, maybe we can get cheap Russian oil in the foreseeable future. And my sense also here is, because medyo honeymoon period ngayon between President Marcos and US may be strict in imposing sanctions and the secondary sanctions on defense deal with Russia, but maybe US will be much more relaxed pagdating sa imports of, let's say, fertilizer, agricultural products, or even oil from Russia. Let's see. And of course, there are no United Nations sanctions on Russia because Russia is a permanent member of United Nations Security Council, so may veto power sila. So there's no way you can impose an international global sanction on Russia, especially when it comes to their oil exports, among other things. No? So they cannot do what they did to Venezuela, for instance, to countries like Venezuela when it comes to Russia, no? Because Russia has that global power and that veto power in the United Nations Security Council. So yun po yung situation na tinitignan natin. So maybe for the next 3 to 6 months, it makes sense. Pero ako, let me end on this point. For me, if really ang goal dito is to make sure na yung domestic prices ng gasoline, ng diesel, ng mga oil products ay bumaba, we also have to make sure, baka mamaya ma-delete na naman tong video natin. Ano tayo eh. Mahirap talaga pag Dapat guys, siguraduhin din natin na yung determination ng presyo ng langis dito sa loob sa Pilipinas ay justified din. The thing is, meron tayong oil deregulation law kung saan more or less we have left it to the companies to determine the prices, no? So dapat siguraduhin ng gobyerno na hindi lang maganda yung supply, yung presyo ng mga supply natin from abroad, but also yung price na dinidetermine ng companies dito ay fair and justified, right? Ay fair and justified also. All right. So I think that's why you have to have a much more comprehensive approach. Hindi lang pwede, hanap tayo ng mas mura dyan, kahit Russia yan, kahit controversial yan, kahit some would raise moral, ethical questions in light of what's happening in Ukraine, no? And then domestically, hayaan mo pa rin yung mga companies to determine the prices, but not making sure the price determination mechanisms are fair, legitimate, and truly reflective of market conditions. Because we may have a condition. I'm not saying this is what's happening. Baka mag-delete na naman tayo dyan. Let's say, ikaw, oil company, bumili ka ng oil good for the next 3 to 6 months. Pero iakyat mo siya dahil tumaas yung oil market prices today and tomorrow. Binili mo na siya. So, yung binili mo, presyo siya ng 3-6 months ago. Pero yung binibenta mo ngayon, pinapeg mo sa latest market price. So, medyo, I'm not sure how justifiable that is, if in case that's the case, no? Kaya nga, kasi ang problema, masyadong liberalize yung markets natin. Kaya ang taas yung mga costs natin, utility costs, etc. Because these are all private sector driven. And mahalaga talaga yung gobyerno has a proper scrutiny of the situation and to make sure talaga na yung price determination ay tama at reflective of not only market conditions but supply conditions, no? So that's why I'm saying my advice is have a comprehensive approach. Have a comprehensive approach. Because if you're gonna run the risks of alienating the West and US and potentially secondary sanctions down the road by trying to get oil from Russia dahil cheaper, but you don't make it sure domestically the price determination is fair, transparent, or proportionate, then baliwala rin. We're not sure about what will be kung talagang the situation in the Philippines will improve. Do you get what I'm saying? So, my point is, if you want to solve the problem, you go all the way, you have a comprehensive approach. And at the same time, sabihin natin, okay, bumili ka ng oil from Russia. Controversial, some would even raise moral, ethical questions, parang kamusta naman yung solidarity with Ukraine, etc. And then some will say, well, I'm not sure matuwang US and Europe dito. Kamusta naman yung charm offensive natin dyan? But if the volume is small, it's like 5 to 10% of our total imports, and 90% still comes from traditional markets, then the impact will still be small. So my point is, if you're gonna go in, you have to go sufficiently big enough to make a difference. Otherwise, it's more trouble than good, right? Now, my personal opinion is different. Obviously, I have personal opinion with you, and you know where I stand personally, morally, ethically. You know, I'm always with the smaller countries being bullied, right? I'm always with the smaller countries. I really don't like bullies, big countries. I don't care what race you are from, whether West is bullies or bullies. That's my personal opinion, but I'm trying to just give you an analytic perspective on what's happening here. So my point is, if you're gonna go down that road, volume matters. Duration matters, but also monitoring and ensuring transparency and price determination internally, that also matters, right? So, yun lang importante lahat yan So, if you're gonna make a statement like that, make sure also there's a proper assessment of the full picture. But at the same time, I understand what the president is trying to do. The president is trying to say we're keeping our options open, and we want to make sure na hindi lang tayo ipit dito or ipit dyan, but we can make the most out of the circumstances and opportunities and challenges that we're facing right now. All right. So on that note, let me say thank you to you guys. I appreciate it. Sorry, as I said, medyo I'm still trying to figure out what happened there kasi yung isang video natin, it's just completely disappeared with no trace, no notification, no violation notification. So even if na-master port yan, I should have known it. There would have been a community rules violation, nothing. So I don't know what's going on there. So hopefully we'll get some updates from Facebook, etc. Thank you so much, guys, for everything, for your prayers, for love, for your support. Salamat for your prayers for my dad, for my family, for all of us. Thank you for your care and concern. Yung mga nagme-message sa atin. I really appreciate it. Your solidarity, your support has been very essential to us. You can see it, even if medyo may lagnat ako, medyo may sakit ako, etc. I try my best to come out because I get energy from this discussion. Kaya nga na-hurt din ako kung bigla nawawala yung video because, of course, you pour your heart to it. No? Ang term ng mga Greeks yan, meraki, right? You put it's like a soul work, right? You put your emotions. You're not just researching. Hindi naman tayo nerd lang dito throwing out information. We're here as patriots. We're here as people who love the country. We're here as people who care about what we're doing. So all of your comments, all of the things we do, all of the tawanan, etc., the gratitude, all of that are in the video, right? So kung nawala yung video na yan, nawala lahat yung moment na yan So masakit yan para sa akin. Kaya windang talaga ako kanina. So please, guys, if you can report also additional race question, go and do it. And hopefully this doesn't happen to anyone and doesn't happen again. I don't know what's happening. Let's just hope it's just a bug at maayos yan. So if follow up ko pa yan sa Facebook, sa mga friends natin dyan sa Facebook, hopefully maayos yan. Let me just say thank you to lahat ng mga supporters natin, kay Arlene Milan, kay Andre Campado, kay Riz Ani, kay Eden Olonan. As always, thank you very much, ma'am. Kay Noemi Tablatek, kay Annie Mary Bardowski, thank you so much. Is that a Polish name or Ukrainian? Thank you, guys. Senan Makalalat, kay Florencio Dominguez, kay Prince Talampas. Thank you so much sa support niyo. Kay Ronnie Vitog, Mitch Tengcha, as always. Thank you also for your support and moral support, of course. Kay Nini, thank you so much. Guzabra, Pau, Fuentabella, thank you kay Ma Baltazar, kay Adi Ralph, kay John Pasigan, kay Rizal Amper, kay Ma'am Fanny San Miguel, of course, kay Ma'am San Miguel, very supportive din sa atin. Thank you so much, Ma'am, for your support. Kay Mary Chris Tingson, kay Glenn Cupio. Thank you sa lahat ng mga nagbigay ng stars, ng supports, and comments. Lahat sa inyo. I mean, just you guys engaging, watching us, showing your support, moral support. I always appreciate it. All right? I really appreciate it. Sorry I have to end again early because of other commitments, but yon, you could see how much I care. Like, it's not just one video. It's all of this interaction that we have together. And as I said, I'm working on ways to use OBS and StreamYard, etc. Para more interactive. I can hear your voices. Hopefully, I can see you guys. We can have video interaction, etc. We're looking at all of those options. So please continue to support us. Comments, stars, just moral support, prayers, everything. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, guys. I'll try to download this as soon as possible and have it uploaded somewhere else kasi ang weird talaga yung nangyari dun. I don't know. I touch on many issues. I touch on Pogo, on Lenny, dun sa letter L and letter B na yan at yung Supreme Court case. Lahat na yan. So, I don't know which one. Anyways, baka bug lang yan. So, I don't wanna make something out of it. Alright? Thank you very much. God bless. Talk to you soon, guys. And please take care. Maraming salamat. Adios.